Good evening. We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. At this time, we're going to ask our clerk to read the roll.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Holland.
Aye.
Kamer. Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Mosley. Neal.
Here.
Amobian.
Here.
And Somerville.
Aye.
All members are present except for Kamer and Mosley.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, would you please stand at this time as we are led in prayer by Minister Marissa Sanders, who's the pastor of Sister Talk. Immediately following our prayer, I'm going to ask if Councilman McKittrick will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. Let us go before the Lord in prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. We thank you for this opportunity to gather again for another city council meeting. Lord, I believe that each person in this room is important to you. So Father, I pray right now that you would reaffirm their, that you would give them clarity, that you would give them peace. Oh Lord God, and just let them know how important they are to the city of Akron. Lord, I lift up every councilman, every councilwoman, Father God, all the people who are in attendance. I lift them up because they are important to this city. So Lord, I pray that you would just have your way, that your peace will be in the room. Lord God, we lift up Akron to you, we lift up our mayor to you, we lift up all those who are citizens of Akron who are present and those who are yet to come. We ask that you would just have your way in our city, Lord, and just let your peace abound. Thank you for the freedom that we have in America, and especially here in Akron, Ohio. Lord, we love you today. We thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. In the name of Jesus, do I pray and give you thanks. Praise God, and amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided. Are there any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco. Holland.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Abstain.
Amobian.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The motion to approve the minutes passes 10-0 with one abstention.
Before you, you have the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Holland.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes 11-0.
Okay. We do have one item up for public hearing this evening, and our clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, July 3rd, 2023, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an addition to an outpatient medical clinic at 527 West Market Street.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. The LeBron James Family Foundation is proposing to construct an addition that will extend northward into the UPD2 zoning district classification. which permits single-family uses and parking for the existing buildings fronting West Market Street. The petitioner owns buildings addressed as 527 and 533 West Market Street, which have a combined total area of 12,035 square feet. The proposed property would be renovated for the new Access Point Community Health Center. The proposed addition will contain 5,912 square feet of area and be sited to the north and east of the existing buildings. The color of the stucco-like exterior will match the abutting red brick building, along with white and gray accents. Ingress and egress to the parking areas will be through existing curb cuts along West Market Street, Hurlburt Avenue, and Fairfield Avenue. The approximately 110 parking spaces will be improved with new asphalt wearing course and striping. The existing chain link fencing along Hurlburt and Fairfield Avenues will be removed and replaced with landscaping. The proposed medical clinic and offices will provide a wide range of outpatient services that will be available to the public. The petitioner stated that the building currently addressed as 533 West Market Street will house administrative offices and Popeye's Gym. The existing building, in addition addressed as 527 West Market Street, will provide medical, dental, optometry, pharmaceutical, and behavioral health services. The clinic will be open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. with possible hours of operation on Saturday, and provide between 50 to 60 employment opportunities. The proposed $3.6 million investment by the LeBron James Family Foundation will not only revitalize this corner, but be harmonious with the mission of the nearby House 330, a community space that provides job training, financial guidance, and additional services. The Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against item number 1? Just going to ask that you please stand at this time so that you may be sworn in by our clerk.
If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I decree.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to begin with those wishing to speak in favor.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Independence Day in advance. Everyone, I know the day is not that bad. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. Okay, I'm a preacher. I like some feedback. I am very much in support of this. This is a time now for healing in America, and any component of healing is necessary. And I don't know your name. I was talking to Chris, and I asked her, what is she do? And I just got through telling her, I would love to see them expand even into some spiritual health. I see that they have mental, physical, dental, optometry, but even some spiritual counseling and that type of thing, because everybody doesn't believe in medications, pharmacia, the pharmaceutical industry, and that will be a religious freedom as well as a healing process for the people in the community. I would like to see more availability for the church and the medical arena to work together. I'm glad that Access is doing this, and I'm very pleased that you're coming to the public with what you do, because the medical field is very confused many times by a lot of people. People think that people just want to put medicine into somebody and toss them in the wind. And I have like the most awesome time every time I come to Akron. Today, I met this guy who has an initiative called Fathers and Sons. And someone who he has embraced has begun a process where people who live in group homes, he gets on their feet. I was like totally loving that, because the traditional way of doing people who are deemed as behaviorally challenged or mentally ill, many times the mental health community medicates the people, gives them a pack of cigarettes, send them to some type of meeting that they have to go through once a week or twice a week, and that's the end of it. Once people are tossed into a group home, they're written off as they can never function in society again. And I thought that was absolutely awesome. And I want to make sure Chris meets this guy and that the preachers meet this guy and you all meet this guy so we can get some people on their feet. It's time out for writing folks off. It's time now to start getting to the root of everybody's situation. Jesus cursed the fig tree because it didn't produce fruit. But it's time to produce some fruit around here, you all, and it's time to make what we have work. I'm glad I met you, Chris, and I hope everybody hears what I'm saying. And you should never be ashamed of your situation. There's always time for healing. Thank you. And I'm Apostolette. Everybody knows me pretty much on the council now. Thank you.
Thank you, Apostolette. So we want to continue. Those who wish to speak in favor, if you wish to speak on number 1.
Good evening, John Marshall, Architectural, 2850 South Arlington Road. Just to build a little bit on what Mr. Antonucci has already gone over with the project, we're really excited to have another healthcare spot in Akron that's providing healthcare for everybody. This will be a great asset to West Hill, to Highland Square, and also go hand in hand with what the Family Foundation is doing in that area. As we said, it offers all types of health care, including just general physical exam, optometry, dental. They'll have behavioral health care, and they'll also have a pharmacy on site for clients of the clinic. The pharmacy that Access Point runs does not have any controlled substances. It's all kind of low-grade stuff that is just meant for helping your well-being. Hours of the facility will be Monday through Friday, 8 till 5, possibly 6 o'clock. Hopefully some Saturday hours becomes available. We're really looking forward to getting started with this project. They're starting to mobilize now, and hopefully first quarter of next year we'll be able to open the. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone here wishing to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what's the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Connor?
Aye.
Baylor?
Aye.
Yes, the request of the committee is for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Okay. Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, we had heard what the proposed use is going to be here, a medical clinic. They do wonderful work and has been recognized by the community for that work. And it's a good use right there at that corner. And so they've also agreed to the 15 conditions that the planning department has placed on this. And so with that, we're our favor. I do know that Nancy Holland did speak in favor of this. This is her district. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And so we're going to give Councilwoman Holland an opportunity.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I mentioned this afternoon, Mr. Marshall and the Access Point team were kind and generous enough to attend the June Ward 1 community meeting, where they presented information about the services that will be offered at this facility and answered a whole host of questions from interested neighbors and community members. This is a wonderful boost to the wholeheartedly supported idea of access to health care. I look forward to welcoming them to the neighborhood. I also hope that this will further move along community interest and desire for a crosswalk location as more and more members of the neighborhood, those who are involved with House 330 and the I Promise community, and all of us in West Hill and Highland Square and Greater Akron enjoy the benefits of this presence in our.
Thank you. Councilwoman Amobian.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Chair. As I see another example of the richness of the health care offerings that we have for all the citizens of Akron. We're very fortunate to have 3 federally qualified health care organizations in some degree, and I hope that this would spread the services around the county to all of the region, all the districts and wards, because there are so many people without. And these are federally funded services, comprehensive in nature, and whatever access doesn't provide behaviorally, there are other agencies that they would join forces with. I would like to also recommend that we do this as. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we do have a motion on the floor for mayor and council as a whole. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. In favor, roll call.
Baylor?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Freeman?
Aye.
Holland?
Aye.
Lombardo?
Aye.
McKittrick?
Aye.
Malik?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Amobian? Somerville?
Aye.
This ordinance passes 11-0.
We'll now move into old business, planning and economic development. Ms. Go.
Thank you. Time on 2 through and including 8. The request of the committee is to file 9. That's the petition that we just voted on. And then time on the balance of the agenda.
Okay, time will be granted. Public service, Councilwoman Holland.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee seeks time on all 3 items on the regular agenda.
Thank you. Time will be granted. Public safety, Councilman Lombardo.
Thank you. The committee requests more time.
Okay. Time will be granted. That concludes our old business. We also do not have any new legislation this evening, so we're going to move right into public. All those wishing to participate in public comment period, I'm just going to stand at this time so that you may be sworn in by our clerk.
Madam President, one person that's in the in right now as well. We have a few more people that signed up online. If it's okay, can I swear in those that are here first, and then we can move to the online and swear those in later and when they get a chance to join. Thank you. Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, say, I do. I do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So just going to ask that when you hear your name, please approach the podium, and you will have 3 minutes to speak to this body. And we're going to begin with Apostolette.
Happy Independence Day to those of you who are celebrating. Everyone has not had the privilege to celebrate Independence Day because not everyone is independent. I went to the Summit County Council meeting that did not exist today, and I had some concerns I wanted to share with them, but the letter I wrote to you all reads as such. Dear council members, staff, and associate leadership, which includes the mayor, I am concerned about many things I have been witnessing in the council meetings. I have witnessed not a genuine concern and respect for the leadership of Ward 3 of Akron, Ohio. It has been an assault on the character of the Somerville family. It has been an effort to discredit, dehumanize them because of the color of their skin and the council president being a female of color in leadership. It must not be permitted. The critics who attend the meetings to do so do not attend or participate in anything the Somervilles do to build up the community or work with them. Number 2, I am in total disagreement with the attack on the police chief, Steve Millett, also who has made multiple efforts to bridge community gaps regarding racism and violence in the communities. He attends community events for conversations and engagement to resolve issues of concern. People do not attend or participate peacefully. Number 3, I'm concerned that our heterosexual rights are being abolished through legislation. We need legislation to correct this for us. We are being forced to accept being violated. Number 4, please put legislation in place to put prayer in the name of Jesus Christ back into the school system, in public meetings and places of our concerns, Christians. The letter to the Summit County Council reads as such. Dear council members and leadership, I come to you on this day before Independence Day with great concerns regarding dispositions that take place not only during elections and on other major events impacting legislation, I'm very concerned about the political and religious climate we are presently facing. I have noticed in my lifetime that every time there is a federal and judicial election, black and we, the multiracial person, is sacrificed here in the United States of America by a murder or mass incarceration, which is labeled to be civil and procedural. The murder and mass incarceration, the mainstream media and press financially off of this, making mockery of our culture and our needs. I need legislation to be put in place to correct this immediately. No one is free until all men, women, boys, and girls are free. Fairness does matter, and our freedom matters. And it's time for this legislation, the county legislation, the statewide legislation, and the United States of America to start writing legislation for color. Thank you. I'm Apostolette.
Thank you, Apostolette. Fran Wilson.
Hello, my name is Fran Wilson. This week I've been reflecting a lot about the last year, about the 100 or so arrests, the prosecution of peaceful protesters and bystanders who were simply walking home from work or to a friend's house and arrested and charged and prosecuted. I think about Copley Road and the tear gassing that happened there just a couple months ago, where there were children present and bystanders and when the neighborhood was just out and about. I think about the beatings of multiple protesters, some recorded, some not. I think about the harassment and some of the stalking that has happened. I think about the police investigation into my own life and my protesting that lasted far too long and did not come up with anything because I didn't do anything. This weekend, we just witnessed another police beating in Akron, Ohio. And this is not the first, and it won't be the last. It just happened to be recorded. And reading the news, I'm always confused why officers aren't named during these situations. They were recorded in the video. It's public. It's on the reports. No one should ever be beaten and punched and tackled like that, no matter what warrants are. That is not okay. Officer Sprague should have known better. Shouldn't have done that shit. Officer Phillips should have stopped him 3 times. It's not okay. Use of force statistics are miscalculated and misrepresented when so many units, or just a few units, aren't recording their use of force. They don't have to. Last thing I've just been thinking about today is that we all really have a part to play, and a lot of us will be talking about justice and injustice here, but we all have to show up in the ways that we can. And so we'll keep showing up and giving our public comment, but I'm not here because I believe this body can or would do anything if given a chance, because it didn't, and it hasn't, and it continues not to. We have to really start thinking, why are you in these seats? We might not have gotten you this election, but we will get you the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Reverend John Beatty.
Madam President and members of the council, I believe God is at work still as God brings forth new realities out of nothing. God was at work when God gave that team the courage to film a Minneapolis policeman as he knelt for 13 minutes on the neck of George Floyd until he stopped whispering, "I can't breathe," and cried out to his mother and died. God was at work when the APD officers' body cameras caught Jalen Walker's body writhing under the impact of 46 bullets penetrating his body. At that point, anyone could see that the officer's shooting was not reasonable, not acceptable, not necessary, not humanitarian, but a criminal act. God was at work when the Akron Citizens Police Oversight Review Board was formed by 62% of the voting citizens of Akron. God was at work when this review board unanimously voted to reject the intimidation of Clay Cozart, president of the Akron Fraternal Order of Police, and to agree 100% to take the power to subpoena witnesses and independently investigate crimes of excessive force by the APD. This is truly a divine miracle. When the FOP takes the Citizens Review Board to court, I believe that God will enable the Citizens Review Board to prevail. My prayer is that God will enable the Citizens Review Board to remain unified and reform the Akron Police Department from a white supremacy gang to a service department whose purpose is to serve and protect all the citizens of Akron, not just some of the citizens, and certainly not just the employees of the department themselves. My hope is that God will enable all police personnel to safely return home to their spouses and children after serving and protecting the citizens of Akron. When all seems hopeless, God is still at work, bringing us all forward on the long arc of history toward equal justice and love for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Beatty. Harrington Hargrove.
Good evening, Council. Harrington Hargrove, 1008 Laurel Avenue, Akron, 44307, Ward 3. And I'm just here to remind this council that my community needs help. We would like to see lights on our streets down there. You're talking about making a change. Well, the city has to have leadership. This council have the means to make a change for our communities. The South Side, I mean, they really need a hand up. I mean, the city needs a hand up. And it's nice that you're doing these things for the hospitals and the doctors and stuff for the citizens. But we need a lot of things like that. That's just the beginning of the journey. And so I'm just asking this council to allocate funding into all the communities. We all need a hand up, and all of us are willing to do our part as far as working to make it happen. But we can't if you shut the doors to us. So that's all I have to say, Council. But we really, really want to make a difference in this community, in this city. And Council can't do it by themselves. You have willing partners in the community, but you won't listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hargrove. Whitman Sullivan.
Real quick, can I have is there a member of council who could pass this around for present members to see? So today I'm speaking, I am Whitman Sullivan. I'm a sophomore at Firestone High School in Northwest Akron. I'm here to speak about the importance of bike lanes and bike infrastructure within our city. I personally do not drive yet. I mostly rely on public transportation, biking, and walking. And throughout most of Akron, there is a lack of biking infrastructure, in particular outside of our park systems. So the map that is being passed around now, bike lanes are labeled in pink lines, and connections are labeled with blue location markers. A big thing is that Akron has good bones of a bike system as we currently stand. Many of our main roads, such as Copley, Hawkins, parts of East Market, and Exchange, have bike lanes. One of the major issues that this system currently has is that there is not a lot of connections for bike lanes. So it's hard to move across the city to get to farther areas from the city via bike, just due to the lack of connection. So that is something that really needs improved, and especially as we currently are repaving, resurfacing, and redoing many more of our streets, that is something we really need to consider. This doesn't just benefit bikers, this is safer for drivers as well. This gets bikers off of the road, out of the way of cars. This also leads to reduced traffic. If we have a good system of bike lanes, that means that we will have less people in cars taking shorter trips, which reduces traffic on our roads, which leads to better in-condition roads. Roads can last longer with less car traffic. And again, this is safer for drivers, bikers, pedestrians, and everybody. It's a win-win situation. So thank you for hearing me this evening, and have a great day.
Thank you. And Whitman, is it possible that you can email that to our clerk so that all of council can see it?
Yes.
That would be great. Thank you. Ben?
I'm told that people online can't hear, so it would be beneficial to turn the volume up any way that's possible. Whatever system allows for that to happen, that is not my comment. So I'm here to build off what Fran was saying. It's been a year since the police murder of Jayland Walker, and we have learned a lot and seen a lot in that year. We have seen the police's willingness and unrestrained ability to react with violence to peaceful protests. As has been noted, many people were arrested on purely arbitrary grounds. If you go and look through the court transcripts, you will see Captain Michael Yohe admit at a certain point of the night that he just wanted everybody on the streets arrested, no matter what they were doing, under the auspice of some vague curfew that is provably not legally enforceable because there's a 4% conviction rate on charges from last year. This police violence continues into the present. The Copley Road incident saw children get tear gassed without provocation. The police came through with pepper spray to a peaceful protest, routed it, and then shot tear gas canisters into a mixed crowd of people still peacefully assembling. There was no accountability even posited by anybody on this council or at the city at large. We have seen the unbelievable power the Fraternal Order of Police has in this city to reach out to certain weak members of this council and completely gut any effort towards public accountability for the police. But something we are not talking about is an even deeper betrayal of this cause for public accountability, which comes with its very drafting. As has been said in this council, Shamus Malik did not think the people of Akron were ready for the power to hold the police accountable in this city. Later on, when that proved to be a very unpopular statement during a debate, he said that the police contract does not permit the city to interfere in police matters. It absolutely does permit. The administration retains the right to fire and discipline police at will within the contract. We can look it up. It's publicly accessible. And for you to have said that is a deeper obfuscation on a neglect of your commitment. The things you ran on, the things you claim to be for, change, all of this. We have the change right in front of you. We tell you over and over, you know the steps that we need for police accountability to just barely begin to be achieved in this city. Name, fire, prosecute those 8 officers. We know who they are. We already know. The state leaked it. It's unconscionable, and it's offensive that you can come to these rallies, to these marches, and say that you are about creating the change that people want, and then turn around and say that everybody wants the police in their neighborhoods. They don't. The reason that we do not have police complaints are because people know that Akron Police Department officials will come to their house and stalk them when they submit these complaints. There's nothing more we can say. It's all out there in the open, and all you need to do is say yes. We've said it to you over and over. You know what change looks like. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Lillian?
Justice for Jalen Walker. We just passed the first year of anniversary of, can you please?
You can continue, Lillian, I'm sorry.
Can I start over, please? Thank you.
You're good.
Justice for Jalen Walker. We are in our year of anniversary that we just celebrated Jalen Walker's death. We all been asking for accountability of the 8 officers. As a mother of 7 children, 3 boys, 4 girls, I always wonder, could it be my son? Because my son was mental, but they're trying to say, oh, Jalen Walker was suicidal. That's bullcrap. It still doesn't take 46 bullets to hit one human being. Then to hear about my community. I hate Akron, but I love the people here. I have gained so many friends, new family members, and I always fear, could have been them. We just witnessed July 1st of another young black man being beaten in front of his 2-year-old daughter. What is going on? I never seen this in my whole entire life. If it was me and it was my child, I would not be as calm as these mothers here. I'm not from here. I'm from Cleveland. I'm stayed in West Virginia. I'm not going to ask for no peace. I'm going to ask for justice. Come on. We are tired of being used as political aspects. Shamus, I'm holding you accountable for every word that you say. We want the 8 officers fired. There's no excuses. None whatsoever. We don't want our money to keep on getting poured out into the police. So hold them accountable, fire and terminate them, and then all these officers that continue to beat on our young men, fire their asses too.
Thank you. Lopo?
Shamus seems to be in the hot seat tonight. I want to start off, there's, 2 cops in here, 4 or 5 outside, 6 people, 4, 5, 6 people coming virtually. It seems like y'all are a little afraid of the people, and I really can't wrap my head around that, I want to start off, of course, we've already passed the 1-year anniversary of y'all lynching Jalen Walker and then y'all actively covering up his murder. And I just want to reiterate, we know the 8 officers who murdered him. It's Matthew Ritzinger, Corey Siegfirth, Joseph Philemon, Dylan Carmen, Joshua Getz, Judd Bishop, Justin Trawick, and Katie Sweeney. Shamus, when you're mayor, you need to fire them, okay, bro? Or it's going to be a really tough 4 years. Today also marks the 1-year anniversary of the mass arrest last year on July 3rd, where over 60 people were beaten, illegally arrested, and thrown in jail for 2 days for simply peacefully assembling. As Ben already said, it's a 4% conviction rate. 90% of the nearly 300 charges ended in not guilties or dismissals. That's abysmal. Your police department and prosecutors spent tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars maliciously prosecuting people. And now we know y'all are never going to hold them accountable. Y'all are going to be sued dry. Like, you're just going to bleed the city of all of its money. 24 people are suing y'all because of that. More people are going to sue you. We haven't even gotten to the people who were tear gassed and arrested illegally this year. Like, we say abolish the police, we know you're not going to do it, but it might get to the point where this city doesn't have a dime to give to the police because you're shelling it out for lawsuits, And y'all could stem this if you would actually do something, but we know you're not going to. And it's just like really disheartening that even the liberals on this board like don't say Jalen's name anymore. Like it's a really low bar and y'all can't even meet it. And I know Shamus, I don't know what to tell you, bro. The next 4 years are gonna be really tough. The fact that you stood up here, publicly said that the people weren't ready for power, that's gonna haunt you for a long time, bro. The fact that you won't name, fire, or charge these 8 officers, but you've already committed to either renovate or build a new police department, which will cost tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, is absurd and disgusting. You are giving a gift to a police department that continues to murder and beat people in the city with impunity, and that sends a very loud message to all of us. So I just want to let you know, as other people have said, either step up and do the right thing and clean out the muck in this city, or like you're in for a rude awakening, bro.
Thank you, Nick. Is it Sergi? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Hi, my name is Sergey Pasco. I don't live in the city of Akron, but I do want to explain how the actions of this board and the actions of the police affect my community. Outside of the city, people don't want to come into the city because they're afraid of the police. They're afraid of being harassed by the police department. It's a really bad image on Akron. I work in Akron, I go to school in Akron, I have family who lives in Akron, and I want to move to Akron one day, but if this continues, I don't know if I want to. I feel that a lot of you have disappointed the people of the city. I'm going to call out Mr. Malik personally. I feel that you campaigned as more of a leftist and your actions are more reflecting of a liberal. You appealed to the masses and you're going back on your word. I'm not one for public speaking, but I just expected better of you. Thank you.
Sergio, thank you. Is it Jake?
I'm Jack. I was driven to come down here and speak tonight because of that video that's going around of Officer Sprague. Because exactly a year ago tonight, I was a victim of his police brutality. He's the one who tackled and beat the F out of me. Split open 5 parts of my body, like my head, there's a scar there, my elbow, scar there, and then all the way down my body. Because he's, 6'5", and he's beating up people in Akron. He's not even from Akron. I'm just shocked. And, we're connecting the dots. We're seeing the pattern of violence. That's what Jalen's mom is suing y'all for, is that pattern of violence that goes ignored, and it's gonna go ignored again. I don't expect anything from any of y'all. So, just putting it on record, we see the violence, and we want it to stop. Also, I took my case to trial. I was charged disorderly conduct and failure to disperse. Jury found me not guilty of disorderly conduct, and the judge, Larson, found me not guilty of failure to disperse. So, another illegal arrest, this time done by Officer Sprague. I was lucky enough to have recorded it, so that's not going to be any issue. I'm already suing y'all, so. Anyway, yeah, I'm done. Bye.
Thank you so much for sharing. We do have a few people who are online who wish to participate, so if you can hear us, just going to ask that you please turn on your cameras and unmute yourself so you may be sworn in by our clerk.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? Say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to begin with Teresa.
Awesome. Hey all, how are you today? Teresa Augustine. I want to do a couple of things, but first, Sullivan, thank you. Wow, you even did the research about bike lanes in Akron. Sophomore at Firestone High School? Pretty incredible. Great job, Sullivan. I'm on my bike currently. I'm one of those privileged individuals who can ride my bike from my house to downtown. There's like a lot of fun events going on in downtown Akron today. But the reason I'm here, I forgot my notes. Must have dropped them. But there's two ordinances on the current business today, and I'm really excited about one of them. Akron received a grant for, I think, $10,000 to improve our water quality. Obviously, I love being outside. You know, water is maybe like the second most precious resource after air, which I think we all witnessed last week with the air quality. So congratulations, Akron, right? $10,000, Shauna, I see you kind of shaking your head. I have some notes with me about some zoning changes to the district I live in, District 1, to a 4-days code. Great job to all who worked on that, but I felt like two things weren't done in that meeting. One was define equity, and two was define conservation. I'm really looking forward to understanding what's the city and council's perspective on equity and conservation. I think that could be like a really good PR move. Akron too. The third thing I'm really excited to talk about is a second ordinance, and I must have dropped my notes, but it was the first or second to last item on, I think, the existing business. And I don't have those ordinances numbers, but $10,000 for water, right? Pretty great. The city of Akron is looking to pass something that will allow the mayor, the director of public safety, and a couple of other people to spend $86,000 with a contractor, which I think is CM or CMT or TMC, one of those contractors for what looks like would protect or ensure the safety, well-being of the city and its constituents. I looked up that contractor, and they sell tactical gear. So I know a lot of people have been talking about losing hope in constituents. I request that, or losing hope in our elected officials, I request that these elected officials here today do not allow that ordinance to pass and ensure that the oversight board has the say in the approval of that tactical equipment. Thanks.
Thank you, Teresa. Mrs. Reynolds?
Hello, Council, Madam Chair.
Hello, we can hear you.
I am at a loss for words. How many times do we need to come before you as a council and tell you to stop beating our babies, to stop murdering our babies? In 1 year, since Jalen Walker's murder, what have we learned? That the police will just beat up a man in front of his baby in his car? Come on. Council, it doesn't take one melanin in our skin just to prove that that is morally reprehensible. We can do better. As a mother, as a woman, as an Akronite, we must do better. I'm afraid that's all I can say until I find more words. We would not separate a mother bear from her cubs. But we have no problem shooting a young man down in the prime of his life and leaving his mother wondering why was her son's life cut short.
Thank you, Mrs. Reynolds. William, are you online with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Council. This is another week where I had something planned, and then late in the day, I saw the video of what happened this past weekend. You know, you don't have to be black, white, male, female to understand what's wrong with some of what's going on here, with the police and with how people interact. I went down to Washington last week to protest and have the Department of Justice hopefully look into these patterns and practices that the Akron PD does. You know, something doesn't have to be against policy for it to be wrong. I really wish that we saw change in the way things are done in Akron. You know, the thing I speak a little more bluntly than my wife. I'm not the token white boy in this argument. You see black, white, Chinese, you see all kinds of people coming before you saying, stop it, stop it. Now, I don't look at it through rose-colored glasses. I understand there's procedures and policy and things that you have to follow, contracts and whatnot. As far as the FOP and the Citizens Oversight Committee, I've heard the saying, good cops should be against bad cops. And I stand behind that. There are good people out there. There are good police out there. There are people who are trying to make the community better. I don't understand how a union can stand by when something wrong is being done. Now, what happened this weekend? Here, with the video that many of you saw, if not all of you, I really had problems with two things. Number one, the gentleman said to the officer, I'm afraid of you. Guess what? I'm a white guy, I'm almost 40 years old. If a police officer pulls behind me when I'm driving, I'm afraid. For different reasons, but I'm afraid that my livelihood is going to be hit for something mild. You know, I'll get a fine because I might swerve or something. You're a black man of my age. You're afraid for your life. Now, I understand use of force is sometimes necessary. The problem that I saw in that video is that gentleman did not appear to be fighting, and the police, when they come in like a pack of wolves, and they get in each other's way, and then say the person's resisting arrest.
William, I'm sorry, but your time is up. You're welcome. That concludes our public comment period for this evening. Jody? Jody, come on.
No, this is.
Who is where?
I'm not
Jody
Jody.
at?
I have. It's possible. Would it be possible for me to please speak? I have a comment form. I just couldn't get it in time.
I'm willing to acknowledge the individual that submitted one. Is that person here? Nick? She's online?
I don't have that form, Madam President.
Okay, so we don't have that form. So at this time, what we're going to do is we are going to conclude our public comment period. Now, if you want to provide those comments to me, and make sure that they're provided to all of council, okay? Okay. So at this time, we're going to do our committee assignments, rules. Councilman Freeman.
2 p.m.
Public safety, Councilman Lombardo.
Public safety is at 2:15.
Budget and finance, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Parks and Rec, Councilman Lombardo.
1:45.
Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco. Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco. Public Service, Councilwoman Holland.
2 p.m.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Public Utilities and Green Committee, Councilman Freeman.
2:45.
Thank you. Is there anything else coming before council at this time? Councilman Neal?
I want to thank the residents that came down to express the concern of the video that was shown of the arrest on Copley Road. I think everyone that saw that was concerned. I'm waiting before I speak on it to get more information, but it's troubling. We have to be able to see the humanity in each other. It doesn't matter if you have on a police uniform and I don't, or if we can't see the humanity in each other and we treat each other like that, this city is going to fall apart. I asked last week, haven't gotten information, about the young man that was shot at Juneteenth. I asked that we have presented to us, and I saw Mr. Little here, he left out. We need to review the city's permitting process. We need to review the process and procedures, because it is troubling for us to say we know that we have a youth violence problem and there's no police presence at that event. The LeBron James basketball event, the opening of his store, police everywhere. But in the community, no police presence. We were supposed to have an answer today. The young man that was shot, I'm not even gonna say young man, the child that was shot is paralyzed. His family's life is changed forever. This council, the administration, failed my community. The community presented a plan to help the police after Chief Ball and the mayor requested assistance. No answer. I'm asking one more time to come before this council that we find out why in a where we knew there were going to be hundreds of children in an area where the mayor and everyone has said Ward 4 is a hot spot for violence, why was there no police presence for an event that was permitted by the city? I'm hoping we have that answer by next Monday. I heard the request for policing to be addressed by my colleague, the incoming mayor. But we still have 6 months left under our present administration. You're accountable while you're on council just like the rest of us, and you'll have your time as mayor. But this council should be working with the administration right now to address the issues that have been brought before us by our constituents. One last thing. Over a month ago, I asked for an answer regarding the soccer fields. You said you were going to get those to a request that was made a year ago. Inner City Soccer had to pay $500 to rent a soccer field to have practice, a soccer camp. I don't know what we're doing down here. I honestly don't. We don't address the needs of our constituents. When blatant abuse of city finances and property is brought before this body, nothing's done. So again, I'm asking for an organization for my community when they want to rent a city park and they're charged as much as $3,000 to rent grass fields. All the information has been presented to this body. I'd like to know next Monday. questions that were asked, if I could get an answer for those on behalf of my community. So, again, I'm waiting before I speak on what everyone saw in regards to the arrest that took place over the weekend. I'm hoping to have an answer in regards to the Juneteenth event. Why wasn't there police presence? The community is owed that. That family is owed that information. And then for the long-standing question that's been over a year now in regards to the soccer fields. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. And I don't know if, Gert, if you can maybe have Lieutenant Miller give us an update, because I was too very concerned about what happened over the Juneteenth weekend, and I spoke with him and he provided some really great insight, and I would like for all of council to hear that, if possible. Thank you. Is there anything else coming before council at this time? Councilman Fusco?
Thank you, President Somerville. Excuse me, I know everyone one of these from Chief Milet in reference to the policing of late. Some of the statistics are pretty alarming. It's within this document. Again, I'm hoping everyone took the time, had the opportunity. I know it was presented to the oversight. 2019, since January of 2019, there's been incidents of shots fired were over 11,000 since January of 2019. 700 shooting victims in Akron since 2020. Conversely, though, 52 complaints out of 148,644 service in 2021. 5 complaints out of 140,902 requests for service in 22, reference APD. That's about 1/4%. Akron police have recovered over 4,200 firearms since January of 2019. That's a big, big number. What have we done here in the city of Akron over the last few years in reference to policing in our city? What have we done? We led the way in August of 2017 with regards to the use of body cams in the city of Akron. One of the first cities in Ohio to do that. Akron City Council banned chokeholds in 2020. The voters and City Council voted to provide full disclosure to release the use of force footage. This occurred in June of 2021. And although we don't all agree in terms of police oversight, how it's done, we all agree that it's a good thing and it's going to be here, and it is here. And we all agree with that. How it's being done, though, is going to be subject to debate for some time. We have, excuse me, good men and women who go out every day to keep our city safe, our streets safe, our homes safe. These men and women have families that pray for them to come home every day that they're out. However, mistakes will be made.
Please maintain order.
Mistakes will be made. Problems will occur in a big organization such as this. But again, the amount of guns that have been removed from the streets are that much fewer that could be used to shoot Akronites. And the thing of it is that we continue to improve. We continue to safer Akron. And it's time to continue that work and do the best we can to make it safe. It's a very large organization, and I would stack Akron Police Department to any of the departments in the state of Ohio, I believe they do a great job. We still have much more work to do. And one other item, I think that's, Mr. Malik is a council person at this time. Yes, he should be held accountable as a council person. The things that were said tonight about Mr. Malik, he can't even, he's not even in the seat. He can't even do that. Much of what was discussed. So, you know, it's a lot of political theater. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on, again, just going to ask us for respect so that we can hear all council members. I do want to acknowledge Councilman Neal, if that's okay. Councilwoman Mobian.
I'm sorry about that. I'm having a hard time finding the speaker on my home. Thank you, Madam President. I just want to recognize the fact that I've attended multiple meetings of the oversight subcommittees, and I know they're working hard on pulling information together, getting feedback from citizens all over the city, and I am sure they will be requesting to present something to council soon in terms of policies that need to be approved by us. But I realize that everybody's anxious about all of these events, and I know I am equally concerned. But I want us to give the Oversight Committee the time they need to do their work and for us to work with them. And I don't know if Madam President has heard from the chairperson or not, but I know that they look forward to meeting with council and presenting some of their recommendations. So with that said, I just wanted to know that they are working hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Neal?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to speak to my colleague's comments, and I think I understand where he's coming from. My point is this. When we had this horrific snowstorm, maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago now, the administration and council called a special committee and swore before this community that we were going to address the problem with snow. And when we did that, it was, I think, already February, so we knew nature was going to take care of that problem. But we swore and we put together a special committee to address the snow problem. We've had a problem with gun violence since I've been on council. Nothing. Usually when a piece of legislation comes in that we don't agree on, or folks vote it down, when we know it's an important issue, a substitute comes in. One came in that came from the community. The mayor even based his youth initiative off of the work of the community that was in that plan. It was voted down by the majority of members on council. No substitute came in. Don't kick the can down the road and say when a new administration comes in or we create another task force or something like that. This is that this can be addressed. We value snow more than we do the lives of our young people. Before that young man was shot, myself and Councilwoman Mosley told you that summer was coming and it's going to be hot. And Ms. Williams, you walked over and told me that we had a youth plan. That Ms. Rose told us last week, don't expect that plan to address the youth violence in our community. What are we doing? A special committee was called for snow. Not once has this council and administration come together to deal with the youth violence that is killing our children out in the street. Not once. No substitute came from anybody. If we're serious about addressing this youth violence that's happening, and I don't know if you saw many people saw what took place with the police on the corner of Copley. I don't know if you've seen some of the ways youth have been engaging and has been recorded with the gun violence it's taken. It's getting even more brazen. This council, did for snow. But we're not serious. You know why? The administration called a meeting for snow because the corporate leaders told Akron to get us act together. Because their people can drive in from Cargo Falls, Green, Copley, Talmadge, but when they got to Akron, they couldn't get into Akron because our roads weren't covered. So we judged because of corporate leaders. The citizens are asking us to deal with this gun violence. And we treat them like we do Mr. Grove. No answer. We don't come together. I ask myself, what are we doing down here? We see what's happening. This legislative body right now has the power to do something. The administration right now has the power to do something. My hope is that before we come back here next Monday, that we'll have the answers to the questions that I asked, and that some initiative will be taken for us to address the concerns that I'll speak of the residents from my ward have in regards to the gun violence that's happening. Because what we've done thus far isn't addressing the issue.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. Councilman Freeman?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just once again, hear the word murder used multiple times this evening, and I think we should all be reminded that this was investigated by the state of Ohio. It was brought before the grand jury made up of our peers, and they found that this indeed was not murder, and it was said multiple times this evening. I just felt I needed to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there anything else coming before this body at this time? Councilman Fusco?
Yeah, thank you. Just that, you know, comparing the snow and the policing, I went through all the things we've done here in the city of Akron. And we also have some within our community who believe that we should not fund police at all. And all of those, and all that would do is create lawlessness. And the majority of Akronites, what they would like to see is this council. I don't know how much we have spent in terms of ARPA funds in hopes in working with the community with regards to reducing the violence in our community. There has been a commitment, and it's being followed through right now as we speak. That's right now. This council formed a committee, and we worked on policing within our city just a few years ago to remind everyone. So it's, and how many resolutions have we passed in this council? We have a legislature that has no regard whatsoever for any kind of sensible regulations on guns, just sensible regulations. The federal government refuses, and every day we see a shooting. Baltimore just last week. Every day we see shootings all over the country, mass shootings. This is beyond an epidemic. It's insane that nothing is being done with regards to reasonable gun legislation. And we've confiscated how many guns? 4,000. I mean, it's crazy. Happening of late. So yeah, to say we have no regard for that it's disingenuous. I'd like to make a motion we adjourn.
There are no objections. Meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville, President of Council, presiding.